On to Gameweek 25 we go, and after a rather underwhelming transfer window, let's hope for an exhilarating weekend of fixtures. The attention remains predominantly on Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool as they continue to march ever closer to their first Premier League title. The Reds' failure to extend their lead over Manchester City to 7 points was a minor blow, but any backlash from Wednesday's 1-1 draw with Leicester can be eradicated with a commanding performance against West Ham on Monday night. The match of the round will take place at the Etihad, where Pep Guardiola's City host Arsenal on Sunday. Unai Emery will be hoping to create some daylight between Arsenal and fellow top four rivals Chelsea and Manchester United. Mauricio Pochettino has had a tough time as of late, with Tottenham being eliminated from both domestic cup competitions along with a plethora of high-profile injuries. Dele Alli and Harry Kane both remain sidelined, while Ben Davies will continue to be monitored as he continues to recover from a groin problem. Heung-min Son, who played 90 minutes in his first game back from the Asia Cup, looks set to continue up top for Spurs. As for Newcastle, Rafa Benitez looks likely to field the same lineup that shocked Man City at home in midweek. Record signing Miguel Almiron will not feature for the Magpies as he still awaits a visa. Despite Newcastle rising to 14th after Tuesday's result, Benitez's side have not won at Wembley since the 1955 FA Cup final. Maybe it's time for that trend to change. Brighton are hoping to avoid losing a fourth consecutive league game for the first time since 1982 when they host Watford on Saturday. The Seagulls currently sit 13th in the table after Glenn Murray's early double was cancelled out by 4 goals from Fulham in a disappointing 4-2 defeat. Bernardo could return after being out for 5 games with a hamstring problem, while Aliazar Jahan backs his back from Asia Cup duty with Iran. Watford are currently 9th in what is a very congested mid-table battle. The Hornets are suffering from a few injury setbacks, with Abdoulaye Doucouré still out with a knee injury, as well as Keiko Femenia, Sebastian Prodl and Tom Cleverley still on the injury list. Harvey Gracia will be hoping his side can bounce back from an unlucky 2-1 defeat to Spurs. Arguably the most bizarre signing of the window was Peter Crouch returning to the Premier League to join Burnley at the age of 38. He will be assessed before making his Clarets debut. Johan Berg Gudmundsson and Robbie Brady are likely to return after suffering from respective thigh and groin injuries. Sean Dyche's men are one of only 2 teams, Manchester United, to still be unbeaten in 2019 and as a result are 4 points above the relegation zone in 17th. Southampton will be without Charlie Austin due to an ankle problem, as Ralph Hasenhüttl looks to go 5 games unbeaten in the Premier League with a crucial 3 points up for grabs. A win for the Saints could see them go 7 points clear of the relegation zone. New Chelsea signing Gonzalo Higuain is a doubt for Saturday's game with Huddersfield as the Argentine deals with a back strain. Maurizio Sarri's side suffered their worst defeat under the Italian midweek, when they fell 4-0 to Bournemouth. Another loss could see the Blues lose vital momentum in the battle for fourth place. Huddersfield Town's days in the Premier League are looking numbered, with the Terriers a huge 12 points away from safety. Karlan Grant could make his debut up top, and a return for Philip Billing is looking imminent. Aaron Mui, who came off the bench against Everton, is also likely to make a full return and start the game. Crystal Palace's new signing Michy Batshuayi is in contention to make his debut against Fulham on Saturday. The Belgian only scored once in his most recent loan spell with Valencia, but the 25-year-old is still held in high regard and could prove vital in Palace surviving relegation this campaign. Sheikh Kouyaté and James Tompkins are both doubts for the Eagles as they continue to recover from knocks. Fulham are assessing potential debuts for deadline day Lazar Markovic and Havar Nordtveit, while centre-back Alfie Mawson remains sidelined. Claudio Ranieri's men are on a high after their 4-2 win over Brighton, but need to continue that momentum in order to reduce the 6-point gap between themselves and safety. Everton have had a weird campaign thus far. On the face of it, finishing 8th in the table wouldn't be the end of the world by any means, but performances under Marco Silva have been rather inconsistent. Idrissa Gueye and Yori Mina are both doubts after missing the Toffees win over Huddersfield due to groin and foot injuries respectively. Phil Jagielka remains on the treatment news while Lucas Digne is suspended. Wolves have a clean bill of health for Saturday's game, as well as the bonus of Willy Bowley returning after serving his 3-game ban. Nuno Espirito Santo's side are looking for their third league win in a row after victories against West Ham and Leicester. However, a defeat would see Everton replace Wolves in 8th. Leandro Bacuna is expected to make his debut for the Bluebirds after signing on deadline day. Harry Arter is ineligible due to the game being against his parent club, but Cardiff could see returns for Victor Camarasa and Josh Murphy. Neil Warnock's side were unfortunate in defeat against Arsenal on Tuesday night and need a win against the Cherries to help their survival cause. Eddie Howe's Bournemouth are waiting to see if Jefferson Lerma is ready to return after suffering an ankle injury. Callum Wilson will remain on the sidelines for a further 3 weeks, leaving the likelihood of Dominic Solanke making his debut a stronger possibility. A mid-table finish is looking likely for the Cherries after their terrible run of form was halted by back-to-back wins against West Ham and Chelsea, scoring 6 and keeping 2 clean sheets in the process. Loan signing Uri Tielemans is set to make his debut for the Foxes against United after receiving international clearance. Leicester are currently 11th and with an empty injury list look set to be pushing for a top 8 finish. Man United are still unbeaten under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, despite having to score 2 late goals to draw with Burnley at home. Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial are hoping to recover from minor knocks in order to feature, while Chris Smalling could make his first appearance in 2 months due to injury. Marouane Fellaini, who looks set for China, remains unavailable. Manchester City are remaining on the Liverpool's coattails despite a shock defeat to Newcastle. Guardiola's men can reduce the gap to just 2 points before Liverpool's game on Monday if they can defeat the Gunners, who have looked rather suspect defensively. Benjamin Mendy could be set to return after suffering a swollen knee and showing the true squad depth that City have. Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva and Gabriel Jesus could all feature after missing out midweek. Arsenal are currently in 4th place on goal difference in what is turning out to be a fascinating battle for that final Champions League spot. Laurent Koscielny is back in full training after suffering a jaw injury, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles could feature after missing the win against Cardiff due to a knee injury. West Ham have suffered 3 losses in a row, including their humbling 4-2 defeat to AFC Wimbledon in the FA Cup. Currently in 12th, the Hammers could go as high as 8th with a win, and a possible return for star striker Marko Arnautovic will only increase their chances. Manuel Pellegrini will be hoping his brutal post-match comments against Wolves will have the desired effect against Klopp's side. Liverpool's plan will be to return to winning ways following their 1-1 draw with Leicester. The Reds have managed just 2 wins in their last 5 games and must surely prepare for a Man City win, which makes the 3 points all the more vital. Joe Gomez has suffered an injury setback as his return date has been pushed back. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain also remain on the sidelines.